Hi, this is Tilt Shift. We have a couple things to talk about today. We've been training for about 3 weeks now. Yes, Sacramento is a beautiful, lovely place, and we've really
Very mellow,
very chill.
Sometimes I hear Steven mumbling about New York City in his sleep.
Yeah.
One-way flight, one-way flight, one-way flight.
New York, concrete. Sacramento is definitely suburbia. However, we live in the more active area of town,
Which is like mildly
active. I think we were driving back from the Capitol the other day, and we counted the number of people per block on the sidewalk, and it was like 1.
None.
Okay, next block. None. Next block. 2. Yeah. So, anywho, Dave and I have adapted. We're fine. We finally love it here. So to speak.
We no longer think our apartment is haunted.
No, our apartment. We no longer think it's haunted. That was more of an April Fool's situation. We went.
Was it? There was a period of time where Steven was gone for the home for a couple of days, and I did not shower at night. I kept the lights on a good amount of the time. There was one day that I walked back in here, and this hanging lamp that you can put a candle in was just swinging over my desk, and that...
But David, why don't you take us away with our anniversary?
So on the way out here, we stopped in Pittsburgh briefly and found Cal Rodgers' grave, which was harder than we thought it would be. We were out there hunting around in this graveyard for a good half an hour before we actually found it.
Yeah.
And once we did find it, because we were in Pittsburgh, a snowstorm came in. So we huddled in the car for about 10 minutes, got our gear, and ran out and filmed us talking and standing in front of the grave. Going into it, I thought that seeing Cal's grave would be some kind of profound emotional experience, but standing on someone's grave, you realize that they're just a person, that Cal was just a man. And it kind of reminded me of when I was younger, because we used to have a relic of St. John Newman at my home parish when I was younger. And it's kind of had the same effect. You look at a relic or you look at a grave and you realize that these people who are heroes to us, whether they're a saint or Cal, they were just people too. They weren't a different species. They were human beings as well. They just took larger risks and lived in a different way, I guess. So, standing there, I sort of realized that we have it within us to recreate Cal's flight, and we're part of the same species, I guess is what I'm saying. We have the same abilities that these people had.
It's been how long now?
102 years.
102 years.
It's been 102 years since Cal crashed.
And today is?
Today is the anniversary of that crash.
Yes.
What amazes me is how Cal just kept getting back in the damn thing after he crashed it 14 times or something like that.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's just nuts. I think he realized that the trip was bigger than him, you know? In the same way that I think this trip is bigger than us in a lot of ways, and that we are paying this man homage and trying to make his name a known name. You know, he's got this small grave in Pittsburgh. It's just a slab of concrete with a little Vin Fizz plaque on top, and that's kind of it. It was very strange. The whole thing was very strange, sort of surreal. I didn't really know what to say.
The story that still sticks with me is the plaque in Pasadena on the beach that got washed up, or did it got washed up on?
No, they just took it off.
They took it off. I think the storm it got.
Right, I think it got knocked over, and they just didn't bother putting it back up.
Yeah, just the image of his plaque on the West Coast being washed up and then thrown into a closet somewhere or something.
It's sitting in a historical archive somewhere.
This is another example of someone who was the first to do something, and then tons of heroes followed after in aviation specifically. Right. But he was the first to carry mail from New York to California. Right. He's the first person to carry a piece of airmail, and his plaque washed up on the shore. And we were like, well, we're not going to put it back. I mean, that would be too much work.
I know.
So we'll just leave it here.
Totally forgotten.
David and I have announced a new takeoff date. So officially, Tilt Shift will begin, so to speak, the trip will begin in the middle of August, somewhere in there, in August 15 sort of time. And we will be returning to New York
At the end of September.
At the end of September, landing in Brooklyn.
The flying weather will be better. We'll have had more flight hours, which is our main concern.
Yes.
The beginning of our trip, just to update you on that, will be a 2 or 3 day trip down the coast to LA. And that will be a sort of troubleshooting period where it's not too late to come back to the hangar up here and do any futzing or anything that we need to do before we really go.
Yeah.
But hopefully nothing will be awry, and we'll leave from LA/Pasadena and go.
Yeah.
That'll be it. That'll be the beginning. The beginning of the end. The end of the beginning.
Yes.
The end of the beginning.
The end of the beginning.
End of the beginning.
Beginning of the end of the beginning.
The end of the beginning of the end of the beginning of the end of the beginning.
The start of the trip.
The start of the trip. Cool.
Yep.
Great.
So, that's it. We're all done. See you next time.
Oh,